So, I was given this Corolla by a friend. It was basically destined for the scrap heap, and now I told him I'd take it off his hands and we're going to see if we can get it going, get it roadworthy again, fix a few things. From what I know, it needs an intake manifold and the handbrake cables have snapped. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other surprises along the way, but I'm going to give it a go and see if I can get this thing back on the road. First of all, get it up in the air and check out what it needs doing. You can see here it's not in great condition. It's been a very long time since it's seen sponge. The paintwork is just covered in grime and everything. A few scratches and dings down the side. The interior is in reasonable enough condition. It needs a good clean. But yeah, as the handbrake does absolutely nothing. It's completely free. We started up here. You can hear it making an absolutely awful racket. So, according to the previous owner, that noise is entirely due to the plastic intake manifold. From what I know, they do separate and have issues, but I'm going to take this off and I'll take a look and see if we can get a replacement. So, had a look through the car and I found that every time the car's running, I've got an engine management light on. So, got the laptop out. I'm going to see what it is. I imagine if it's to do with that intake manifold that was mentioned, we'll probably get a code for something like airflow, lean mixture, rich mixture, something along those lines. But I've got my diagnostics box here. And hook it up, find out what we're dealing with. I've had a look online and I got the diagnostics box out. It was given a code PO420, which is usually to do with O2 sensors or the catalytic converter. Now, as far as I know, there shouldn't be any issues with this car. The cat is still original and everything's intact, but we'll look at that another time. I had a look around to see about the intake manifold because it's making a horrible noise, and apparently there's some baffles in the intake manifold that can come loose that are originally glued in, and apparently all that's needed is to just take off the intake manifold and put a few screws in underneath that reattaches those baffles internally. So I'm going to give that a go. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, we can just get another one from scrapyard. But yeah, going to get the intake manifold off and see what I can do. So, from what I found Googling around to fix the rattling noise, now that we've got the intake manifold off, is to just drive a screw right through here on the bottom side, but I've even seen people put 2 or 3. I think the baffle goes along this edge, but you can't really see it unless you were to literally cut it open and it's wrecked, so I'm going to drag these in now. Oh, that felt so wrong. I've got the intake manifold cleaned up and back on, and I'm going to try and give it a start. I haven't put a new intake gasket or anything on because, well, I don't think it's going to fix it, just whacking a screw in, but it seemed to fix a few other people's problems, so I'll start it up and give it a try, sure. So if you've ever before on idle, it sounded like a diesel, so we'll see what it's like now. Oh my god, it's actually fixed it. Well, that's one job done. I'm actually quite pleased with it. I really didn't think that would work. I thought I'd be spending quite a bit of money to try and get a new manifold for it, but that seems to have got it now. I cleared the code for the engine light, but it hasn't come back yet. You can see there. So once we've got it back on the road, we'll see if the engine light returns. Next up on the list is fix the handbrake cables, and which you can see in there, but look right there, we've got a big hole in the exhaust tube, probably just here. So to get the handbrake cables off, you need to take the exhaust off anyway. Over here, you can see handbrake cables run here, but they disappear up under this heat shield, so the exhaust has to come out. Fortunately, the exhaust has been repaired before and just welded solid, so I think it's going to need a cut around a bit there. Get the back box off, might even order a new one, I'll see how much they cost, because this one's been patched up a few times, you can see in there. And then pull the front section down so we can do the handbrake cables, get the back box out so I can repair that. So, I've got the exhaust heat shield off here. We can now get a wee look at the handbrake cables. We can take a look at them now, and you can see one of them hasn't been pulled at all, and the other one is pulled all the way out. So that one that's been stretched, I imagine, is the one that's either snapped or has been actually stretched at the cable. So I'll disconnect those, get the right one out, and see if we can tell what's gone wrong. I've got the rear brake apart now, just to see what's happened with the cable, and you can see the handbrake cable coming through here. It just ends to nothing. This is what's left of the handbrake cable, so it has just sheared completely off. The only problem we've got now is that these wee pins that come through here are responsible for holding the brake shoes in place, and on this side it's blown through completely. So if this pin are in place, you can see it's just on the verge of coming through there, and if it was at the wrong angle it could just blow through there. So might need to get a new backing plate for that if possible, and we need a new rear right handbrake cable. Ooh, that's not good. Oh shit. And this is definitely not good. I've ordered the parts from Handbrake, waiting on those to arrive. In the meantime, we need to sort out this rust patch.
I'm not an expert on this, but I've dealt with rust a few times. And the first thing we need to do is just find where's the clean metal and get rid of this sealant that goes along this edge. And the best thing I found for doing that is one of these wheels just attached to a normal drill, and we'll just drill all that back till we find some clean sheet metal, and then we can start cutting out the rust and making up a new plate to go in its place.
Yep, snowing there. I think that's me for today. I've made a good bit of progress on this. I haven't really filmed much of it because it's just been raining and horrible, and I'm just trying to get it done. Got new back box fitted, welded up, had to weld up another patch in the exhaust, got the new handbrake cable on. As we saw, the intake is all fixed up. The handbrake's really nice and tight now. Yeah, it's properly on there. Engine light's gone now that the intake's been fixed. And now I'm just getting up to the final bits of cleaning the car up and trying to make it
something half decent. So I've just started polishing up the headlights, and then hopefully if the weather holds I can clay the car and give it a quick polish maybe, but we'll see how it comes up after the clay. You can see there's a few scratches and dings and all around the car, especially down here. Someone's driven into something, but hopefully with a wee bit of care we can clean it up. So the plan was for this part of the video to just be talking through how to polish up the headlights when they get that dull oxidized look. So it was first off with wet sand and then we went into polishing. It was, unfortunately, halfway through filming this video my microphone had died and I didn't realise until we were getting towards the end of it. I've now resolved that, I've got new microphones and all, but unfortunately all of the dialogue and audio was lost from this footage. So initially I'm just clay barring the whole car using some spray detailer to just keep it all nice and smooth, not get any grit into the paint, and just taking out all the minor imperfections that are in the paint, bits of tar, bits of sand and grit that are just embedded into the clear coat. And then once I'd finished clay barring, I then just went through with just a simple drill polisher. As I'm polishing it, when I wipe away it comes up really nice and clear. This wouldn't be a paint correction or anything of that nature. That's much more advanced than this. This is just taking sort of the top very layer of that clear coat off, just to bring the shine back into the paint. And once I'd done that, I just threw a quick coat of liquid wax on it, just to try and keep the dirt off for a wee while longer.
Oh, bit of slack. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's awful noises coming from this car.
Is there why?
Because the wheel's moving, so the drive shaft is just slapping on bits of suspension as it goes around.
Lovely.
Not much. I don't think it'll do any damage, like, it's just unpleasant. Yeah. No, we should be alright. Push it a wee bit more.
That's alright, not at all. That's two for the job. Now, you don't normally want to hit the axle stub with a hammer because you'll wreck the threads and you'll never be able to screw the nut back on. But this isn't going to be going on with the car again, so it's irrelevant. But it very easily. That's what you'd love to see. That's completely sheared in there. Almost looked like, I don't know, rust was able to get in because of this rubber boot. That's the gearbox end. That's what it should look like.
Big hammer.
Yeah, so that's everything sorted on the car. It's got a nice polish, it's all clean. It's got a full MOT with no advisories. The car flew through absolutely perfectly. Everything on the car's running well. The engine just sounds brilliant now. You can barely tell it's running. It's really smooth, pulls really nicely. No knocks in the suspension. Handbrake works a dream. So the whole thing's been pretty much sorted now, and we've found someone who's going to take it off our hands. Hopefully it stays on the road for another few years.